And I fake it so well I deserve applause. 'Cause I refuse to show the world that I am flawed. I say this isn't who I am, no I'm not him. Tell myself it's someone else's body, not my skin. But my tears continue to fall, and my fears save me from nothing at all. And the monsters in my head continue to call, and the comfort I once felt, it wasn't comfort at all.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in or for listening. This is Confessions of a Rock and Roll Wifey. This is Rhea Brown, and I'm here with Joalby.
What up?
You guys, a lot of you who watch my show and who listen on Spotify, you do know him. But for those of you who don't know him, he has been a huge supporter of San Diego metal, as well as a performer himself in the scene, the music scene around San Diego. And he's had a long journey and a really full life. He's very active, does so many things around San Diego, not just involved with the music scene. So I'm going to let him tell us a little bit about that. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I know, where do you start,
Wait,
right?
no, where do I start? This is an interview, girl. You're supposed to ask me questions.
Well, it's mostly...
Don't hate me.
I put him on the spot. He's like, what do I say about myself?
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, you've been involved in the scene and everything. So I kind of want to hear, like, your story. Tell everybody your story. I know it's kind of a where do I start because there are so many things. I'll just start with how I met Joalby and the things that I've seen him do. And then we will, because yes, because I kind of want to give you guys a little bit of a preface of like who he is. So he is a musician first for me, because when I met him, he was performing and doing a lot of different performances with other people as well, at like Brick by Brick and different places like that. And I know that you're friends with and have family that are in bands in San Diego and stuff like that. And so we have seen you, a lot of us, and people who know you and people who are probably watching this have seen you grow a lot. And it's funny that I say grow because you actually shrunk.
Yeah. In the opposite direction.
Yes. Joalby lost a lot of weight. He had a great weight loss journey, and he pretty much did it, the right way, which is, you working out a lot. Didn't get weight loss surgery. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I did. But eventually you did, because you got the right.
I plateaued
right.
At one point, yeah.
Okay. Well, good for you. Honestly, like I was just about to say, nothing wrong with that. Yeah. It's just that's what I thought. So okay. Well, see, I'm learning all kinds of new things. And the thing is that you really are very kind of like, even though I'm sure there's a lot of things that a lot of the public, all of us, don't see about you or know about you. You're very transparent with a lot of your life, on social media and stuff like that. And so that's how I've been able to keep up with it, but, obviously there's things that get missed. So, okay. I know that your mom passed like about a year ago, right?
Or
how long ago? Your father
passed last April.
Just this last April?
2021.
Okay, yeah, a year ago. Okay,
August,
year and a half.
My cousin in October, and then in February of this year, another cousin and a good friend of mine took their life on the same day. So there's a lot of trauma with regards to loss, a lot of trauma regards to sexual assault that happened in 2017 that I was put in a position where I had to navigate PTSD and emotions and depression and everything and kind of step away from the scene. So I haven't really been at shows a lot. But I think it's taught me how to navigate the trauma and stress and the grief response better than I feel anybody really should be able to, because it put me in a position where I had to either work through it or let it completely destroy me. And yeah, it's been an interesting couple of years.
So Joalby is a musician. He's I mean, you are like all over, just activist, like person, somebody who is out there doing all of the different charities. And just today you sang for, what was it?
I did the Dixon Lake 10 miler. I'm the resident national anthem singer for endurance race events, for the Rock and Roll Marathon series, for Hot Chocolate race series. So I travel and sing the national anthem for a whole bunch of marathons. SD Running Co. I do a bunch of their events in San Diego. So I'm like the go-to anthem singer. I'm like, yeah.
Yes, and you're a survivor.
Yes, absolutely.
And you are also somebody who is hurting a lot from losing a lot of people, and you're making it through that, and like you said, navigating it through that. So yeah, I mean, I just want to kind of like hear your story, you know, and you don't have to tell us everything. I mean, you know, I want to hear about, you know, your musical stuff. I want to hear about what you're doing with the charities, all that stuff, as well as, you know, like I said, anything that could help you heal or anything that might help somebody who's watching this heal, you know, because you're an inspiration.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
In terms of the music scene, I was always a singer. I just never really performed much because I had an issue with trusting other people to see the vision that I had for my music. And me and my cousin Michelle were outside of a Five Finger Death Punch show in 2012. No, it was years, maybe 2009. And John Russo from Cannabis at the time was outside handing out demos. We picked them up, and the guys from Five Finger Death Punch came out and were like, "Here, dude, can you get a picture of us?" And we ended up going to see him at what's now Cannonball on the boardwalk. And from there, we started going out to a whole bunch of other local shows on the metal scene. We had SJ, who ended up moving down from South Africa and is like doing huge fucking things with recording artists now.
SJ, she's awesome.
All over the place now. But she came out and she found out that I was a singer and that I hadn't really performed yet. And she said, "Okay, so we're gonna get you on this lineup and I'm gonna play guitar for you." And I'm like, I don't want that. She's like, no, we're gonna get you on this lineup. So I give her a lot of props for actually getting me on stage and getting me comfortable with actually performing and being in front of people. And I think that's what kind of got me into actually jumping on lineups and kind of like being the little folky singer-songwriter of the metal scene. And I'm like, I'm gonna sing pretty songs, and if a rock song or a hard song comes up, I'm gonna show people I can do it, but it's not really like what I like doing. From there, I think my weight loss journey kicked into overdrive in 2013. I used to get really depressed about what I would see on stage. I would look back on videos and I think I had a great show. I loved the way my voice was. I loved this. And then I'd look back and it's like the worst thing ever to look at yourself back after you do something. Because I would look at the videos and I'm like, okay, can we, like that Blues Traveler video, like, can I just have somebody else stand in front of the camera and be the image can I Milli Vanilli somebody and like me just be the vocals? And
so you just had this feeling of just like, you didn't see yourself as somebody who would be on stage.
Right. So for a bit, I just decided, I'm going to step back, and I'm not going to get back up on stage unless I'm happy with what I see. And I've still been doing music, still been recording stuff. I'm not really releasing anything, but I went on this entire journey towards running. One of my best friends at the time was a competitive runner, and he was out rock climbing one day with a friend who probably shouldn't have been belaying anybody because he didn't know what to do. And it resulted in him having a fall and breaking his back, so he couldn't run anymore. And I decided, you know what, I ran 3 miles before, why can't I run 13? Stupid.
It's a lot of miles.
Yeah, it's a very big difference.
Yeah.
But I said, I'm going to do a half marathon for you, and that's going to be the only one I ever do. And I did Long Beach in 2013, I think I did Long Beach. And I got hooked. I got completely hooked on running. We were on our way back from Long Beach, and I had already signed up for the next race. And from there, my friend Matt tells me all the time, you've completely surpassed what I did as a runner, because he did competitive running in high school and everything. And me, I don't know when to stop. So I went past the half marathon mark, did a full marathon as a training run, did 2 ultra marathons, which is any distance 50K or more. And I just got hooked on it. The experience of being out there and being alone and silencing all the sounds in your head. And it's like, I say all the time, running to me is like prayer. It's like meditation. It's a cathartic
centers
experience.
you, yeah.
It completely zens me out. And if I'm not able to do that, then it's usually because I haven't ran as much. So there's times that I'm out there and I'm like, okay, the voices are still going. I still have all this doubt in my head. I'm going to do another couple of miles until I shut them up. And it's addicting. It's a very addicting experience. But through running, like you said, I lost 140 pounds through running, and then I hit a plateau and I couldn't lose anymore. So I opted for weight loss surgery at that point.
Well, see, what I thought you had done was the where they removed the...
I did that on my chest.
Okay, on the chest. Okay, okay.
Before I had weight loss surgery, I had the excess skin on my chest removed because there was a whole bunch of excess hang, and I was starting to pop way too many pain meds because when you're running, it's like slamming down and it hurt really bad.
Yeah.
So I had that done, and then I still plateaued. So then I had weight loss surgery, and I lost another 130 pounds. And then right now I'm waiting to go in, I think the end of next year, and do the excess skin around my abdomen.
Okay.
Because it's still a little like wonky. I don't like it. So.
Yeah.
But the initial kickoff and everything was definitely, I made it a point that, like you said, there's nothing wrong with weight loss surgery. It is a tool. It's the most beneficial tool for weight loss. But
exactly.
if you can kick it off and start it on your own, then it gives you...
It makes it easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes it easier to jump back after surgery.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of times, if you're not started already, it's just like, you do still have kind of a long journey before the weight comes off and everything like that.
And it's a shock to the body.
Yeah.
Something like that, because you wake up and you're back in learning to eat like a child, except you have the mindset of an adult.
Yeah.
So you're this 30, 40-year-old person who all of a sudden wakes up one day and they have the stomach of a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, I have the appetite and I have the cravings of an adult, but it's going to come back up.
Yeah.
So you're learning to eat all over again. And if you don't have some kind of discipline or some kind of thing set in motion, you're going to fail and you're going to get sick. And even me, I still have moments where I'm like, I'm really craving this, and I regret it afterwards.
Yeah.
Any sugar, any like peanuts are really bad. Eggs are kind of like hit and miss. And I wake up one day and I'm like, I really want this, and I ate it yesterday and my stomach's like, yeah, no, not today.
Yeah.
Like it's fickle, but it's a learning experience every single day. But I'm an advocate for it. I'm an advocate for weight loss surgery. If you need it, by all means, get it done. Do your
Definitely.
research. Yeah, do your research. Get somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, it's like getting your life back, you know? I mean, when you get to that point where you are like, I have no options. I mean, yes, it is something you can start off and do on your own, but I mean, like you said, you have to have a great mindset, but they have to go together. Right. So it just all goes together. Like, you make your decision, and then you have to do both things. Change your lifestyle as much as you can, but it's huge. People that, are so kind of like depressed, and you feel like you have nowhere to turn. It really can show you, like, this is the light at the end of the tunnel,
And for a lot of people, it's not as easy to do a shift in their lifestyle because they've gotten to a point where they've gone so far left that it's hard to get right. So it's a kickoff. They have to get the surgery and then start rebuilding, and it's a shock. Yeah. But you know what? It's going to give you your life back. It's going to prolong your quality of life. It's going to cut down the risk of diabetes and heart disease. For women that are trying to get pregnant and they can't, like if they have fibroids or anything, it kicks your hormones into overdrive. So I've known people who have gotten the surgery and it helps them to get pregnant when they haven't been able to do so from that. So it's a lot of stuff. Like, it completely changes everything about your life.
Yeah, and it's like a whole nother person that emerges. It's great. And you've always been kind of like really active anyways, but you just got super active. Yeah. Super active. I was seeing you going to shows, at parties, like kind of just with everybody. And then it was like,
I have a race tomorrow.
You were off and running. You were off and running. Yeah. You sang the national anthem twice this week for 2 different things.
For the San Diego Santa Run in Pacific Beach, and then this morning for Dixon Lake 10 miler in Escondido.
Yeah, that's freaking cool.
Oh, Joalby.
Yeah. Exactly. One thing that I did notice is that a lot of it did start to happen when you started talking about the trauma and stuff like that.
A lot of that.
So is that kind of like hand in hand a little bit, you think? Or is it just that you just needed something else?
No, it kicked my ass. In 2013 is when I started running, but it was very recreational and fun for me, and I didn't start with completely changing my body until the sexual assault in 2017. So, here's the story. February 13, 2017. I was in the Gay Flag Football League, and me, my coach, and one of my teammates were running stair sprints at the convention center when an individual who was part of the metal scene in San Diego decided to reach out. At that point, this individual was one of my closest friends and messaged me saying that he had broken up with his girlfriend, he was going through trauma, he was going to do something stupid, which at this point became very normal for him and me. I was so used to getting these messages. So I showed up at his place. I left the convention center to see how it was. And I'd done this so many times. Like, I show up at his place and, the table's broken, there's holes in the walls, he's upset and he's raging. And I'd be like, I was one of those people where I'm like, I'm not scared of you, do what you gotta do.
Right.
But if you want me to be here and be here to support you, you have to fucking clean the glass up off the floor. You need to calm the fuck down. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm leaving and you're gonna be here alone with whatever pain you're going through. And it had happened so often that I was used to it. But this day it was different. We were talking and I was trying to calm him down. And at one point he went and made us a drink. And what happened afterwards is that he ended up raping me. And it took a few months for me to make sense of what happened because, when you're in a situation like that, everybody says that it elicits like a fight or flight response. And for me, I just completely froze because I'm like, this is my best friend. If he's doing this to me, like, it's obviously not in an attempt to hurt me or anything. And it took me a good 3-4 months to realize that what had happened was a sexual assault, that I was raped. And at that point, I had been waking up at night, screaming, punching at, like, like there was so much PTSD, like I wouldn't leave my room for a couple of weeks, and my roommate at the time was super concerned, like what's going on, like you're screaming and you're crying out and you don't want to go running, and my roommate would go out running with me because he's like, okay, I realize you don't feel safe. I would park my car blocks away from my house so he wouldn't know where I lived because there was a trust issue. And once I was able to connect the dots and realize that why I didn't feel safe is because there was this violation that I felt. I hit a point in summer 2017 where, I haven't really talked about this, but I took my friend's gun and I went and I parked in front of his house because I wanted to take my life and I wanted him to be the one to find me. And I wanted him to understand what happened. So I parked in front of his house with the gun, and when it happened, a friend of mine messaged me, who I hadn't talked to in years, and said, hey, I want to make sure you're okay. How are you? And I put down the gun and I went back to my friend's place. And the next day I was at church and I told my pastor and his wife what happened, and they put me in contact with the PTSD therapist, and I started my journey to healing, which led to, like you said, the jump start in the fitness thing. I think the reason that I went so far in weight loss is because in my head I wanted to separate myself from how I looked that day. I wanted to become a very different person. I wanted to look nothing at all like the person that I saw as a victim. And that resulted in, after the surgery I went way too far left, and I developed an eating disorder as well because I wanted to keep restricting everything, because for me, restricting was control, and I had control back over my life. So after dealing with the PTSD journey, which I'm still on a PTSD journey, I'm still seeing a therapist, I'm still seeing a psychiatrist, please, by all means, I am a firm supporter of psychiatry. I think every fucking person in the world needs a psychiatrist. They could benefit from it. So I have a talking doctor, I have a psychiatrist, and I have a PTSD person. And then in 2020, I dropped down to 140 pounds after the surgery, and I went into eating disorder treatment, and I found out that the eating disorder was directly related to the sexual trauma, because I was just trying to look nothing at all like the person who was assaulted.
It happens a lot to people who are dealing with, with trauma. I think in one way or another, we've all, had some sort of trauma in our lifetime. And unfortunately, or, as long as you get help, you can learn from it, but, unfortunately it just happens way more than like we think. Everybody deals with it. We're totally not in this alone. Like, even though it feels like it, and it is harder, it feels like it when you physically don't have somebody with you all the time. You feel alone, but we're all dealing with the same similar things, in different times in our life.
A lot of people, I didn't find out until afterwards that a lot of males do deal with sexual assault, and they don't talk about it because as a man, you're when I opened up about it,
it's embarrassing to them to talk about it.
It is, and I had the issue of this person trying to reach out, hey, I can't believe that you said this. I'm like, it happened. It happened, and we were done, and you made me go shower afterwards, so there would be no proof of what happened. You're trying to make it seem as if I'm lying. I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm going to be paying out the ass for all these resources. I'm not going to, at that point, feel like I'm alienating myself from my friends on the scene or stepping away from something that I love because...
Well, it's hard. It's hard because a lot of people know him, and so they don't necessarily want to believe that. Who wants to believe that, But then also people know you, and so they believe you. So a lot of people either just stayed out of it or just chose a side. You know what I mean? And honestly, I believe you because I don't think that anybody would ever make something like that up. And
And there's a history there.
You know, but, you know, what would you say to people who would say, okay, well, maybe he was flirting with him. Like, do you think that he wanted it? Like, is that, you know, you say, fuck you guys, that's not true.
Absolutely. Like,
I know that's difficult to hear, but there are people that probably think like that.
And it was a lot of people saying, like, what I heard a lot of is like, well, if you didn't want it, you should have been able to fight it off. I'm like, that's not always the case.
Yeah.
Like, I freaked out because I'm like, I've seen what he could do.
It came out of nowhere?
Yeah. I've seen what he could do. And I don't want to say that he put something in, like, I'm not saying he put anything in the drink.
Right.
I just know that
you shut down.
Inhibitions and everything were very shut down. Like, what is happening here? This is at the time, my best friend that started off by kissing me, and I'm like, pushing him away, like, and everything, like, hey. But I knew what history had said that he had done to his exes. So this person has a history of being abusive towards people that he's been with. Mind you, he was never with me, just this one moment. But there's stories circulating, and there's all this stuff circulating around the scene of how he is, and how he does have an abusive personality, and he is assaultive with people, and so I was scared. Like, I don't know if it was fear, like...
Well, it's hard. It is hard, I have to say, because I've had encounters with him, and I never had a problem. Mm-hmm. I thought he was a great guy. We had fun. You know, I hung out with him a few times. And, but the thing is I don't feel emotional about it either way. Right. I just have to believe somebody who is saying what happened to them and telling their truth. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I do want to make clear that, you know, this whole thing is not about that person. It's not about bashing that person. It's not about any of that. It's about Joalby and what he went through and how it's a part of his journey and what he's gone through and to get him to where he's at now. And you do openly talk about it.
I do, and I've been very careful about making it clear that it's not an attack on him.
Well, and if you know what I mean? I mean,
and if I wanted
on the other coin, exactly. On the other coin, you could totally
limitations on sexual assault.
And I, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what I, you know, so I'm not trying to say that if you're a victim that you shouldn't, you know, stand up for your truth and do what you think you should do. It's just in this situation, you feel that it's best to heal yourself and just move on.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why over the course of the last 5 years, I've only mentioned his name in relation to what happened twice. Mm-hmm. I've only publicly mentioned his name twice, and like right now, like this individual, this person.
Right.
Because it's not meant to be an attack on him. What happened. I'm 5 years into my healing journey. And
it really did affect you.
And it did. It scared the shit out of me. Like
well, and people know you. Yeah. The people know that you
I disappeared.
Always but you always, especially back in the day, making jokes about, you know, dicks and like this and that and fucking like all this shit
it's no joke. It's no joke. I've slept with men on the scene.
Right.
Like I'm like, let's see who I can, like it's in the past, it's no joke. That's happened. And I did that. I got feedback from people like, "Oh, you've slept with guys on the scene. You've slept with straight guys on the scene." I'm like, "Yes, but this is the only time that
you weren't into it, and it just happened.
This is the only time that I was not consensual."
Right.
Like before, hey, we're hooking up, this and that. You wanna? Let's go.
Right.
But with this individual, it was not consensual.
Yeah.
However, and I'm not saying that everybody who has had to deal with sexual assault or any kind of rape needs to forgive their person. I did. I think about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I reached out because I blocked him on everything. But I reached out to him by email. I didn't hear back, but I reached out to him on email, letting him know this is the impact that what you did to me. I'm still healing. I'm still working through it. I still wake up every once in a while freaked out. But in order for me to heal and move on, I need to let go of this hold that you're still having on me. So I told him, I forgive you. I forgive you because of the history, because at the end of the day, that was almost a decade of a
we knew
friendship.
you loved him.
Yeah,
you loved him.
Yeah,
so that's the thing. It's like Joalby loves him.
Do.
Yeah.
I still have so much love for him in my heart because of the history. And it's hard to say that because the history's there, and I love this man because of who he was in my life. But because of what he did, I can't have that, and I can't.
You can't have a normal life now.
Know that. No, and I can't invite him back into my life.
Right.
That doesn't mean that there's not love. It's like when people break up in a relationship, there's so much love there because of what was there.
Right.
But it's not going to fix what
happened
since. Yeah.
No, nothing can. And a lot of times I've found that when you're trying to reconcile with people, it's best just to not even bring it up and just move on, because it just opens the wounds. It makes it worse, and then you're back to where you started. So you either forgive and move on, or if you want to have them back in your life, then you need to realize that, okay, it is what it is. That's part of what it was, But some things you just can't.
I couldn't, and I wrestled with. Recently, I wrestled with, can I try to open that up? But I think the fact that in order for me to heal, I had to say, this is who did it.
Yes.
And I think the damage has been done. I don't like the damage has been done to my emotional state, and the damage has been done to his character and reputation, because now people know that. Forget the fact, because people are going to believe what they believe. Right. If they want to believe it's true, if they want to believe that it didn't happen, that's fine. But either way, that's out there. Mm-hmm. And people know that somebody did say that, that I did say that, hey, this person did this. And so both reputations, because now it's like people...
It's like you have a fucking big A on your fucking shirt.
Exactly. Like, what's gonna happen? No, that's exactly what it is. Both reputations are affected. And all I can focus on right now is, what am I doing to lift myself up and rebuild myself in a healthier, better way? And but that is a big part of my journey.
It just took off.
It did. It catapulted me into overdrive, and you try. And I don't want to say you try to look at the bright side of things, but in every bad situation, something good eventually comes out of it. And for me, it was a complete change and metamorphosis in who I am. I was loud before, but I'm a lot more outspoken, a lot more verbal, a lot more assertive in claiming what I need and the respect that I need, and the kind of shit that I'm not going to stand for.
You found your voice.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really did, because before I just talked to talk, and now I'm a lot more assertive, and I name and I claim what I need and what I'm worthy of and deserve of, and what I'm not going to stand for, from friends, from family, from anybody. Yeah.
Has it affected your relationships, other relationships, being able to build relationships?
I have not.
Red flags? I
have not been able to maintain a relationship. I've dated, but I've not been able to maintain a relationship since then. Yeah. Because there's a lot of fear. There's a lot. I've hooked up.
Even don't with friends, I'm sure.
Yeah. With friends, certain, and I have to realize that there's some comments that people make because their story isn't written like mine was. So some people will make jokes about certain things, and I'm like, okay, I can't hold this against them because they haven't been affected by this. So I'm like, hey, you know what? This is how that impacts me.
Right. And so
that's it.
now
I have to,
certain
like-
things are offending you more than they
Yeah.
would have before.
Or I have to reframe it. Like,
Okay.
like if somebody's like, hey, it's not meant as an attack on what happened to me.
Right.
It's just, it's a joke. It's funny. Haha. Is it funny to me?
Right.
No, but that's okay.
Yes.
In the grand scheme of things, I'm well aware everything can be used in a way of humor.
Right. Nothing's off limits.
Nothing's, and it's hard sometimes because
there's triggers.
Yeah, there's triggers,
Yes,
but you know what?
Exactly.
We need to. Part of healing is learning to work with your triggers, reframing that. So it's realizing that when people say things, it's not meant as an attack on me. It's just like, shut up and laugh. Shut up and laugh. You can make sense of it. You know, don't talk to them about it. Just
you're stupid.
Write this down. I'm gonna have to talk about this with Carolyn in my next session and how it's impacting me.
Why is this triggering me right now?
Why is this affecting me? It's been 5 years. Why still?
Yeah.
But,
don't get upset.
Right.
Ask yourself why you're upset.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. But yeah.
It is. And it's funny because that's a huge, like, therapy thing, I think, too, is like, okay, I noticed that you got upset about, like, let's talk about why.
Yeah.
Why would you get upset about that, you know? And it's like, wait, what do you mean? Come on, we're mad at that person, remember? It's like, no.
And she's like, no.
Let's talk about why you're...
Yeah, why you're upset because this happened to you.
Right.
And then it puts me in okay, so it didn't happen to them.
Yeah.
So they don't know. And even if even if someone you know has gone through something similar, your interpretation is going to be different than their interpretation, because even though someone you love or someone you know has had to experience this kind of pain, you as an individual have not. So there's only so much that you can understand.
That you can understand and feel compassion for.
Right.
But I am so proud of you. And so you got catapulted into this just full speed ahead fitness journey and doing everything. Fucking yoga.
I'm a yoga instructor now. Yeah.
He just goes and he puts on his other hat and then runs back around, and then
I'm not
the same guy that...
I'm not one of those little namaste yoga instructors. Like, you come to my class, you're going to get your ass kicked.
Okay.
It's a very power flow kind of thing that I teach. But
nice.
Again, the body remembers and the body holds on to things. So yoga has been very crucial. Yoga and breath work. I'm big on breath work. Anybody in San Diego who
breathing
ever has
is
a chance,
life.
Oh my God, it's like Tibetan monks and like kids like in Tibetan countries. They teach you for the first several years of your life. They don't teach you the ABCs and
breathing techniques.
They teach you breathing. It's the first thing you do when you live, and it's the last thing that leaves you when you die. Breath work is able to put you like completely change your mindset.
Yes.
So I do that. I do cold water therapy.
Yeah.
Breathe degrees in Carlsbad is amazing.
Yeah.
They've been a savior with that.
That's amazing. I took Caden to the dentist this week, and the dentist was saying that breathing is even what forms our bones in our faces. Yeah, because Caden was like stuffed up and everything, and he was concerned about inflammation. And yeah, he said that when you breathe through your nose, as you go, breathe in, that's how it like helps your cheekbones form and stuff. So a lot of people who have breathing problems, they can't even develop completely like that way, you know? Yeah. Breathing's so important.
It is. I think James Nestor wrote a book called Breath. Really good. Recommend it to everybody. And it has a whole bunch of like, I know it as pranayama, breathing techniques from the yoga world, but just breathing exercises in general to just ground yourself and recenter yourself, which is like so good.
Dude, you gotta teach me a couple. I'm gonna put this right here so that I don't have to
right
hold
now.
it. Yes, right now.
We do like alternate nostril breathing.
Okay.
It's called Nadi Shodhana.
Alternate? Do you have to hold one side?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I don't know if I can do that without holding it. Okay, ready?
So you connect your 2 fingers here.
Okay. Live long and prosper.
Yeah.
Oh.
And what you do is you cover up your left nostril.
Okay.
And you breathe in through the right.
That's my right. Oh.
And then you...
I don't know if I can do it with this hand. Okay.
And then you cover the other one after you breathe in. Let go of the left.
Breathe out.
Whoa.
Breathe in through the left. Cover it. Let go of the right or the opposite one. Breathe out. And you just cycle through that for a couple of breaths.
Whoa, I gotta blow my nose before I do that.
Oh no, and you know what? There's one called bumblebee breath, which is like, but and like when you do it, like if
you have
do
to
a
hum through your nose.
Yeah, and if you do a pranayama class or any kind of breathwork class, there's tissues around because you like phlegm comes out everywhere and you're like boogery. And,
a bunch of
all
people.
shit that just needs.
But
to
then,
get
yeah,
out
that's
of
what I
you.
was gonna say. As soon as you get out of that, you're probably like so relieved to clear that all out and
The
stuff.
alternate nostril breathing is really great because it normalizes and it kind of puts your left and the right side of your brain kind of in like
alignment.
yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is the word?
You know, like, yeah,
like,
it's okay. We can finish each other's sentences. Okay, one more. Or two. Breathing thingy.
Okay, we can do, okay, so we're going to start with, this is a lot of what they do at Breathe Degrees. It's breath holds and stuff, and we're not going to do a breath hold because they make you hold your breath empty with no breath in you for like up to 3 minutes.
Oh,
but
damn.
it's a process.
Okay.
So it's not like you just go in. So we're going to start by taking 2 breaths. Put your one hand on your abdomen, one hand on your chest. And your first breath, you just push out and breathe into your lower abdomen. You hold. And then open mouth.
Deflate.
And then the next one, again, just through the abdomen. Hold. And release. And then for the next 2, you're just going to go into your chest. So it's just chest up and then you just expand and hold up top. Breathe out. Now we're going to connect both of them. Start at the bottom with the abdomen and then let it rise up to your chest. So
okay.
You breathe in and you hold and release. Usually when you do this, you're on your back.
Okay.
You have a little blanket on you. You have a little eye patch. Nice little music playing.
Okay, so what if someone wants to go to your show? Or to your show, to your your class.
I don't teach breathwork right now, but I incorporate into my yoga classes.
No, but your yoga. If someone wants to go to your yoga class?
I'm looking to get back into it. I was teaching at Gather Encinitas and Yoga on Sea in Coronado, but with the passing of my parents and my cousin, I stepped back from teaching so that I can kind of deal with healing myself before I kind of put myself out there to help others. But I think January or February, I'm looking at starting to teach at Mesa Rim, the local rock climbing gym, and kind of getting on their rotation to teach. I already work out there and climb there, so it would be nice to actually incorporate my yoga training there.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I'll be doing that, and then incorporate breathwork into that. But if anybody wants to like get a great experience with breathwork in San Diego, definitely Carlsbad Breathe Degrees is. I cannot say enough about those people. Like Corey is an amazing instructor. He's become one of my closest friends through the loss in my family. And then Tyler, who started the place, he's a physical therapist and just has this knowledge on completely shifting who you are and making you a stronger, better person just through breath. It's like a gym facility specifically for breathing and cold water therapy. So you do like a cold plunge in like 30 degrees afterwards and you breathe through it. It is amazing.
Yeah, I've seen you in those too.
Yeah, I love it. And it brings you back to your primal nature.
Oh, I don't know if I could do it. That's so cold.
I would definitely try.
I don't like the
You
cold.
would?
Now let me tell you, I don't like the cold. There's plenty of races that I've ran where it's 30 degrees. And I've had to message the organizers, like, can you take these pictures down? Because I'm crying in the photos. I cry if it's cold. But cold water therapy, when it comes to breathing and everything, it changes you. Like, every time I come out of there, it's like, they call it a gym, kind of like an F45 for your breath. Because people work on their fitness, they work on everything, but they don't really work on breathing and mental
Well, no,
techniques.
because it's almost involuntary, but yeah, when you actually are using it in a way to help your body, then yeah, it's good. I mean, I meditate all the time. I used to take hot salt water baths, and that was my thing. I like hot.
Have you done?
I do very hot detox baths, and that's what kept me sane for a long time. And I'd be meditating. I'm very into frequency music.
I do that. I sleep to binaural beats.
Yes,
and yes.
There's a frequency for everything. I mean, I love it. And decalcifying your pineal gland and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's just amazing when you start to find all these tools that will help you, cope with trauma or be, grow as a person or go through a dark night of the soul, whatever they want to call it. But,
or even if you just want to see what you're, even if you just want to see what you're capable of. Mm-hmm. If you don't everybody has trauma, but if you don't have something traumatic that happened that you need to work through.
Yeah, some people some lucky people haven't had too traumatic things.
Are they really that lucky?
I don't know.
If they haven't experienced it yet,
it could be way worse.
Everybody has something coming.
You're right. So. You know what? And it's better to happen, I guess, when you're younger because it's harder to deal with trauma when you've never had to, deal with it before. But anyways, so you do all the ice buckets, you do the hot yoga, the breathing techniques, the therapy, the running, all of it. Mm-hmm. And you're coming out on the other side right now, I feel.
Doing everything that I can.
You are. Well, you are. You went through the whole eating disorder thing. I feel like that was kind of the worst part, right? Of the healing?
Do you think? Absolutely. Because I was really bad. It got to the point where I was passing out at work.
Yes. Well, I would see pictures of you and I'd be like, he looks sick.
Yeah,
And I wouldn't say that. I'm not verbalizing it walking around. But in my head, I'm thinking, are you okay?
I was about 25 to 30 pounds lighter than I am right now.
Yeah. And right now you're thin. Not thin, in a bad way, but you're at a healthy weight, and but you're looking good and you're looking healthy, but you're thin. Yeah. I mean, you never thought you'd be called that, huh?
No, I didn't. And I'm like,
he cringes when I say it because he's like, you're a liar. No. And I know that the body dysmorphia, that's a thing too. So you look at yourself and you see.
I see the excess, and I have to keep reminding myself that once this is gone, I'm gonna be a lot lighter than I am.
I know how that feels because I've always fluctuated with my weight, but just think of all of us. Yeah. All of us have that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? And it doesn't make you a lesser person.
They're like, look.
Yes, shut up about your little roll.
I know.
Right?
I go to get on the scale and they're like, no. I'm fine. I just want to make sure that I'm steady. I'm not.
They're like, you don't need to look.
Right. I'm like, I'm not trying to lose anymore. We're fine. We worked through that. But.
Right. Well, it's awesome. It's good to see you coming out. And I know that your mom was really close to you, and with her gone, is it hard? Where were you at when she where were you at during all of this when she?
I held her hand when she passed.
But were you doing good, or were you in a bad spot, or?
She was here still when I went through eating disorder treatment.
Okay.
And she was here and when my father passed. She helped me work through that. I didn't know that just 4 months later she would be gone, but she was fine. We were at J Street Marina and she helped me work through that because my father's passing was very different. We were estranged and we had no relationship, but in my mind you always hold that hope that you will be able to make amends and you'll be able to build a relationship. And after he was gone, it kind of threw a wrench in that. And I'm like, okay, so there is not going to be any kind of resolution to this. So healing is going to look very different because I can't heal with him. Mm-hmm. With my mom, she had liver failure. And with anybody who has liver cirrhosis, you usually have about a year. Oh. We had her for several years.
Oh, good.
So I think with us, we forgot how easy it is to lose somebody so quickly to something like pneumonia, a UTI even, because you just go septic. And with her, she went septic once and then came out of it. And it was at the height of COVID, so nobody was really able to be with her, so we would do video calls. But I think we're really blessed that we had family come down, and before she passed, she came out, and she came out of sepsis, and we were able to do a video conference call with her where she spoke to and recognized everybody, and her mind was there, and it was like God giving us another little chance at being able to connect with her and have her talk to us. And shortly thereafter, she went septic again, and family were able to kind of go in 2 at a time to see her. And unfortunately, not everybody got to go in because that day, we got a call the day before that she's ready to go. And so they had, I was her executor or her registered person to make decisions, which I really didn't make any decisions. She made her decisions. I just told them what she wanted.
You just like, yeah.
So when she passed, my aunt was in the room, sitting down praying at the foot of her bed. My mother's fiance was sitting on the couch because she was about to get married, and I was standing by her. And working in a hospital, like I kept looking at stuff and like, she's ready to go.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything to them because I didn't want to like stress him out or stress my aunt out.
Right.
But when I saw that she was ready to take her last, I just went over and I held her hand and I just squeezed her hand and told her I loved her until it flatlined. And then I collapsed on the floor and had a moment and brought myself together. It was one of those, like, I started crying and screaming on the floor and then immediately pulled myself up, like, we got to get this taken care of. I can cry later. Right now we have to go get the nurse, have them work on getting everything taken care of. It was hard. Like, I tell people, being there for somebody when they die, or being there for my mom, she was always like, I don't want to be alone when I die, and I was like, well, you're not going to be alone, and I was able to keep my promise to her. And
yes, that's such a gift. It really is.
And it's a gift that it's a gift that you're glad you have, but you really don't wish that gift on it.
No,
I tell everybody,
you don't.
I hope to God that you never have to.
But you would be like literally wishing you were there with her.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that I had the ability to be there with her and hold her hand and help her transition over with that. I think since it happened in August of 2021 and then my cousin passed in October of 2021, it was like I posted recently that everyone is like, you did such a good job at dealing with the holidays. I'm like, I really didn't. My ass was still like in shock. We were all still in shock with what happened. That it was so fresh. Like, I tell everybody, this year has been so much more difficult with dealing with the holidays than last year. Last year we powered through it because it was new and we didn't know what
you're still processing it.
And this year we've had a year to deal with the loss of everybody, and now it's very, very noticeable, their absence. So like grief is not linear. Like, you have some days that are a lot easier than others, some days that are harder. And like, I went and walked out on the pier in Pacific Beach a couple of days ago, and I just sat under the Christmas tree and just cried because I'm like, I need to figure out how holidays and how big events are going to look from now on. Like, I used to call my mom after every race and tell her, like, just for like, hey, I finished. And she'd be like, oh, okay, good. Can you ask me how it went? She was like, for her, it was just like, it's just a part of it.
Right.
But the first one that while she was in the hospital, I did the AFC half marathon, and I remember crossing the finish line, reaching for my phone, putting my phone back in my pocket, and running through the finish line at Balboa Park and just collapsing, crying under a tree, because it was then that I realized I'm not going to be able to call her anymore. She's not going to answer the phone when I call her to tell her, and she was still here. Yeah. But in my head, I knew it's not going to be for long.
Yeah.
So I need to like kind of get used to how. So now I finish every race, and I'm just like, okay, Mom, I finished.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I still have to tell her that I finished.
She's like, oh, that's good,
So
Mijo.
that's why, can you stop
Go eat some
bothering
food
me?
now.
I'm chilling up here. Yeah. But yeah, it's a very different finish line experience now, but it is still my passion, and it's still healing, and every time I go out there, it's definitely that. It's healing, it's meditation, it's prayer.
Well, you just have to try to like have the life that your mom would want you to have,
Absolutely.
you know, and that does include letting people in and being, you know what I mean? Like things like what happened aren't going to happen every time. Right. And, you know, everybody deserves to, you know, be loved, and, you know, whether you want a partner or not, building that family to have a wonderful, you know, holidays with or whatever there's so much good life out there that you can have.
For all intents and purposes, when I think about things that have happened, I have to remind myself that that's one thing. Mm-hmm. That's one horrible, terrible thing that I wouldn't wish to happen to anybody, whether it's loss or the assault. But that's one thing in like this grand life. Like I've had incredible experiences.
Yeah.
And there's an ebb and a flow. There's a positive and a negative. I don't want to say positive and a negative, but like there is
because
times.
That's what it is in this world.
There's difficult times that we have to deal with, but in the grand scheme of things,
together.
I've had a great I don't know if I've had a great life, because then people start messaging me like, oh my God, like, what's he thinking of doing? Like, I have to be careful with my words. I told somebody last year, they're like, what do you want for Christmas? I'm like, time. And I scared the shit out of him. I'm like, no, I just like, I want to be able to rest. Like, I want to be able to chill and go on vacation.
Yeah.
He's freaking out, calling me like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I'm fine, bro. I'm not taking.
Or what are you not telling me?
Yeah, I'm like, I've got time, like vacation. I'm like, I have to be clear with my words. But
that's so funny.
But also, I think the assault helped me get back into music. I haven't really released any of this stuff, but it inspired some songs that I've written that they're not really happy. I mean, I never really wrote happy stuff, but it's music that's inspired by very real life shit and situations, namely the assault and not overcoming it, but like processing it. Am I going to release this song? I don't know if I'm ever going to release them, because the idea of performing them scares the shit out of me, because the idea of recording them was so difficult.
Yeah. Did you record them?
There's 3 songs that I've recorded.
Okay.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Well, if it scares the shit out of you, you should just do it.
And that's what everybody tells me. They're like, go out, release it, do one CD, do the CD release show. And I've toyed with the idea of partnering with an organization to raise awareness for sexual assault survivors, and do like an art deco thing, like rent out an art studio and then have a performance art here, have an artist here who's writing, and have me just like over in the corner performing the songs.
I love that.
So it's less intrusive, and like if I have to like dress as
it's less like a Joalby show.
Yeah, because
the Joalby show.
That's my thing. I want it to be about the organization and about everybody's individual journey. And if I were to release the songs, it would be kind of like that thing, and do like an art presentation, and have different medias and different forms of art and performance that deals with navigating.
I love that. That's a great idea. Yeah. Sorry, I thought I heard the door.
Yeah. I'm sure it will. I think I have another 2 songs that I want to record. It's just so. Any recording session is draining.
Yes.
But it's so draining to have something like that just takes so much out of me, where we've been in studio and I'm like, we need to go outside.
It's always when you're recording that you can't do it right, too.
Right.
It feels like...
But I'm the king of, like, imperfections.
Not you, but just, like, anybody. I feel like, you know...
Like, Frank Torres always tells me, I like the song. Whenever I send him something, he's like, but you should do this. I'm like, I am not one of those artists. I like hearing my voice crack. I like hearing my voice go out. I like hearing the pop. Like, I want to keep it very personal. Like, like most of the songs I record, I do 2 or 3 takes, and I'm like, I'm done. Because I don't want to emotionally put myself through this. Figure it out, piece it together.
Yeah.
I'm not recording it again.
Yeah.
And that's what I did with these songs. I'm like, just work it. They're like, do you want to do another take? No. No, because it's why am I going to re-record something that's real? Why am I going to make something sound polished and pretty when the thematic content is not pretty?
Right.
It's ugly. Make it sound ugly. Make it sound like they're like, what do you want the music to sound like? I'm unfinished. That's every single song. They're like, are you planning on finishing them? Oh no, I like this. I want everything to sound like a work in progress. Everything to sound like I can better it, because I want it to sound like I gave up halfway through the process, because a lot of the times I do. I'm like, I don't want to sing this anymore. Like, it's done. Work with what you got. It's real, it's raw, and that's what we're going to go with.
Well, right, and it's just like if you were doing like a live show or something.
Yeah.
Like, you do it once, and that's how it comes out.
And that's exactly what I want to go for.
And people like it. It did not sound like that.
Yeah, that's and that's the thing. I want people to listen to me and be like, that's what he sounds like live. Ugly and imperfect. Yeah. John Russo does a lot of my engineering and stuff when I was recording, and he's always like, Joalby, you are the most imperfect singer that I've ever heard, and I like that. That's what I'm going for. I'm not trying to get a recording contract. I'm not trying to do all these big things. I'm trying to heal through my music.
Yes.
Say what you gotta say.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it out. Yeah, that's all I like. That's all I like. The one thing that I know how to do is express myself through writing. So if I can heal and release a lot of pent up trauma and emotion through that, by all means, let me do it. So.
Definitely. That's amazing. I love you, Joalby. So thank you for doing this.
Absolutely.
I know you were a little reluctant.
I wasn't reluctant. I was nervous.
Nervous, okay.
Scared.
That's good. Well, you don't need to be scared.
But nerves work.
Hopefully I made you feel comfortable.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think before we end this, you should sing the national anthem.
Oh my God, no.
He's like, I hate
No.
All right, I won't make you, I guess.
I can sing a part of a song that I wrote about.
Okay, do that. That sounds good.
So this is one that I have not recorded yet. This is the next one that I'm going to record. It's just a verse and a chorus for it.
Okay, you can turn and look at the camera and...
Do I have to?
You don't have to, but...
All right.
The
I'm
paparazzi.
coughing right into the mic.
It's okay.
I can dim a little.
Set the mood.
There you go.
So this is a song that I haven't recorded, but it has to deal with the sexual assault. Just a verse and a chorus to give you an idea of kind of where I'm going with it. But and I fake it so well I deserve applause, 'cause I refuse to show the world that I am flawed. I say this isn't who I am, no I'm not him. Tell myself it's someone else's body, not my skin. But my tears continue to fall, and my fears save me from nothing at all. And the monsters in my head continue to call, and the comfort I once felt, it wasn't comfort at all.
You make me cry. Oh.
Yeah, that's it's you see why I don't want to why I don't want to actually go in and I'm like, can we just record these, put them out, and just like do like a video vignette or something where I don't have to ever perform this shit, because recording it is cathartic enough.
No, it's beautiful. You just like literally touched both of us.
Yeah.
And you know, that's a universal thing, you know, I mean, So I really truly feel like that you should just follow your heart and do the things that scare you, you know, and you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And you're just getting better.
Absolutely.
Huh.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, well, give me a hug.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. And I hope you had a good time
I
today.
did.
All right, well, thank you everybody for watching and listening. Thank you so much again, Joalby. This has been really great. And I knew that I wanted to have you on because I felt like you do have a story to tell. And I feel like, just from what I've seen, it benefits you to tell your story.
It does, and thank you for making it very comfortable for me to be able to talk, because I've talked to people before, but I've never fully addressed it. So thank you for like having that friendship and that history there that made it very comfortable for me to just be like, I gotta talk about it. Yeah.
Yes, because it's one of those things where I know other people are wondering about it probably, and also you haven't fully, like you said, told it. And so for me, I want you to feel comfortable because I don't want to add to that. Right. You know, I want to be an advocate and your friend and somebody who you can trust, you know. And so no, I would never want you to be uncomfortable, and I'm really glad that you felt comfortable to talk to me, and with Arlene too, as well. We love her. And this is my last show for this season, and we are gonna be doing another season next year, maybe sometime. I'll be coming to visit and stuff, nice. So hopefully we can catch up and see how you have evolved even more. All right, well, thanks everybody for watching Confessions of a Rock and Roll Wifey. If you want to follow Joalby, you can probably find him. I don't know if you would ever see any other Joalby. It's a awesome name, but I've never heard of anybody else named Joalby. But yes, he's all over, and you know, if you like what's happening today and what we did, and click that like button, please, and subscribe to the channel, and follow us and all that good shit. Have a good one, y'all.
Adios.
See you later.
Voices cripple me from deep inside, babe. Tell me how I'm supposed to feel.
Here as we listen to a live performance of our country's national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled